thing that's been brewing behind the scenes. And honestly, I don't know whether to be hyped or worried right now. So look, two huge storylines just dropped that are actually more connected than people realize. First, the Red Sox are apparently circling back on one of our young catching prospects we just called up last year. Yeah, that guy. And second, there's this wild trade proposal floating around involving a two-time Cy Young winner. And bro, you're not ready for what they're saying we'd have to give up. Now, here's the thing. These two stories, they're not separate. They're part of the same question the front office is dealing with right now. What does this roster actually look like moving forward? Do we cash in on young talent to win now, or do we protect the future? Because if the Dodgers are even thinking about moving pieces like this prospect, or, and this is the crazy part, using a certain Japanese pitcher as a trade chip just 1 year after we got him, then something big is happening, and we need to break it all down. Real quick though, if you're as locked in on this team as I am, do me a solid and smash that like button. We're pushing hard to hit 12,000 subs, and every single one helps. Let's build this thing together. All right, let's get into it, starting with our young catcher, because this one hits different.
All right, so Dalton rushing. Let me paint the picture here because this whole situation is way more complicated than it looks on the surface. Last season, the Dodgers made a move that honestly shocked a lot of us. They DFA'd Austin Barnes. Now, look, I get it. Barnes was struggling at the plate, no question about it. But man, the timing felt rough. This is a guy who's been Kershaw's personal catcher for years, a clubhouse leader, someone the pitching staff genuinely trusted, and we just let him go to make room for Rushing? And don't get me wrong, Rushing earned that shot. The kid had nothing left to prove in AAA with Oklahoma City. He was ready. But here's where it got tricky. When you're a rookie catcher stepping into a backup role on a championship caliber team, that's not an easy situation. You're not playing every day. You're learning on the fly. You're trying to build chemistry with an elite pitching staff while getting maybe 2 starts a week. Dave Roberts kept saying they just needed him to play defense and work with the pitchers. Which, okay, fine. But then, Rushing dealt with that shin injury late in the year, and by the time October rolled around, he barely saw the field. 1 postseason appearance. 1. For a guy we traded away a veteran leader to bring up, that stings a little. So now, just months after we call him up, the Boston Red Sox are apparently sniffing around again. And this isn't new, by the way. They were already interested before the 2025 deadline. Boston's got Carlos Narvaez and Connor Wong behind the plate, but according to reports, they want an upgrade at that second catcher spot, and Rushing's name keeps coming up. Here's the thing though, and this is where it gets messy for us. Our catching depth just took a hit when the Reds claimed Ben Rortvedt off waivers, so we're already thinner than we were, and there's been no indication from the front office that they're even open to moving Rushing. But where does Rushing actually fit on this roster long term? Because let's be real, Will Smith is our guy. He's locked up, he's not going anywhere. So what does that mean for Rushing? A career backup? That doesn't make sense for a prospect with his pedigree. Now, they did play him at first base a few times last year, 8 games, 1 start, and he's got some outfield experience from the minors, so maybe the plan is to use him as a super utility guy, fill in for Freddie Freeman here and there, maybe platoon with Teoscar Hernandez in left field, but even that doesn't feel like enough playing time for someone who should be getting everyday at-bats somewhere, and that's the dilemma, right? If Rushing isn't going to play regularly here, are we just blocking his development? This feels a lot like the Michael Busch situation. Remember him? Another top prospect we didn't have room for, so we traded him to the Cubs, and now he's mashing for them. I'm not saying Rushing is gone, but the writing might be on the wall. Look, I don't want to see Rushing go. I really don't. But if the front office looks at this and says, we can flip him for something that helps us win right now, then, that's the business. That's how championship teams operate. You don't hold on to prospects just because they're prospects. You move them when the return makes sense. And speaking of moves that might help us win right now, that second story I mentioned at the top, yeah, we need to talk about that. Because if you thought trading Rushing was complicated, wait until you hear what the proposed package is for landing one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. And trust me, the name they're throwing around as a potential trade piece, it's gonna make you uncomfortable. Let's get into it.
All right, here we go. Before I even say the name, if you're watching this and you haven't hit that like button yet, do it now. Seriously, we're grinding to hit 12,000 subs, and every single one of you helps us get there. Now, let's talk about TAKE ESPN. So the Dodgers have been heavily linked to Skubal, right? And honestly, on paper, this makes total sense. The dude is a 2-time Cy Young winner. He's got 1 more year of team control left, which means he's not a pure rental. We could extend him, lock him down long-term if we wanted to. And look, we've got the farm system, we've got the money, we've got the assets to make this happen. Skubal is legit old school in the best way possible. He stays healthy, he pitches deep into games, he eats innings. In today's game, where guys are getting pulled after 5 innings and 80 pitches, that's gold. That's exactly what we need. Now, the Tigers know what they've got. They value Skubal highly, as they should. But here's the reality. Detroit can't afford to keep him when he hits free agency. They just can't. So they've got a decision to make. Do they hold on to him for 1 more playoff push and risk losing him for nothing? Or do they cash in now while his value is at its absolute peak and get back a massive haul? So, Zachary Reimer from Bleacher Report put together some proposed trade packages from teams that are rumored to be interested. And when I saw what the Dodgers package looked like, bro, I had to read it twice. The package includes Zahir Hope, our number 2 prospect. Big corner outfielder, power and speed, still raw, but the upside is there. Then Jaxson Ferris, our number 6 prospect. Also raw, but the kid struck out 135 batters in 126 innings at AA last year. The stuff is nasty. And then the kicker, the piece that makes this whole thing work, Roki Sasaki. Yeah, that Roki Sasaki, the guy we just signed, the Japanese phenom who was the number 1 prospect in all of baseball last year, the guy we were celebrating like crazy when we landed him because everyone wanted him and we got him. Now, Reimer makes the argument, and I hate that it makes sense, that because our rotation is so stacked, Sasaki projects as our number 6 starter right now, which is insane when you think about it. But he says that's exactly why trading him could work. The Dodgers are so deep that we can afford to move a guy with that kind of upside. And for Detroit, Sasaki brings both short-term and long-term value to their rotation, which is the only way trading Skubal makes sense for them. But here's where I'm at with this. Reimer himself even says, and I quote, "Frankly, one doubts that the Dodgers would part ways with Sasaki just 1 year after scoring him as a major offseason prize." And I'm with him on that. Like, we just got this guy. The whole fan base was hyped. We outbid everyone. We sold him on the organization, the city, the vision, and now we're gonna flip him a year later? That feels wrong. It feels short-sighted. But then I think about why we'd even consider it, and that's where Skubal comes in. Because as good as our rotation is, Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, Yamamoto, these guys have injury histories. Snell's missed time, Glasnow's missed time, even Shohei's coming off surgery. And last season, they got pushed hard because our bullpen was a mess. Skubal doesn't miss time. He's durable, he's reliable. He'd give us 200 innings and take pressure off everyone else. From a pure winning standpoint, he might be exactly what we need to get back to the World Series and stay there. Look, I don't think this trade is happening. I really don't. The price is too high, and giving up Sasaki just doesn't feel like something the front office would do. But the fact that it's even being discussed, that tells you where we're at as an organization. We're not rebuilding. We're not in a wait-and-see mode. We are all in every single year. And if that means moving pieces, even big ones, to land a guy like Skubal, they're at least going to listen. All right, before we wrap this up, if you made it this far, I need you to do me a favor. Drop a comment below and tell me, would you trade Sasaki, Hope, and Ferris for Tarik Skubal? Yes or no? I want to know where Dodger Nation stands on this, because honestly, I'm torn. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. We're pushing for 12,000 and we're almost there. Let's build this thing together. So let's zoom out for a second and look at what these 2 stories are really telling us. On one hand, you've got Dalton Rushing, a young prospect we just called up who might already be on the trade block because we don't have a clear spot for him long term. On the other hand, you've got this Skubal proposal where we'd be giving up Sasaki, another young elite arm, plus 2 top prospects just to land 1 established ace. You see the pattern here? This front office is in sell mode on the future if it means winning now. And I'm not saying that's wrong. We've got Mookie, we've got Freddie, we've got Ohtani in their primes. The window's open. You don't waste that. But man, it's a gamble, because if we move Rushing and he becomes an all-star somewhere else, if we trade Sasaki and he turns into an ace for Detroit while Skubal gets hurt or walks after a year, that's gonna hurt. Here's where I land. I trust this front office. They've earned that.
but I also think we need to be really careful about mortgaging the future just to patch holes we created by not addressing depth properly. We shouldn't be in a position where we have to trade elite young talent just to stay competitive. At the end of the day, Dodger Nation, we're in a position most teams dream of. We've got options, we've got leverage, we've got a championship caliber roster. But big decisions are coming, and how we handle them, that's going to define the next few years. So let's hope Andrew Friedman and the crew get this right, because we didn't come this far just to run it back. We came to win again and again and again. That's it for today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you make these moves? Let me know. I'm Victor, this is latest Los Angeles Dodgers news, and we'll see you in the next one. Go Dodgers!